Hi, Darren again. Yeah, I'm taking it easy. I'm kind of winging this video a bit today, which is going to be a bit of a hybrid. Yeah, after a few months of pretty intensive work, a lot of my videos have taken quite a lot out of me. Yeah, lots of planning, lots of writing, lots of shooting, and oh my God, lots of editing. Yeah, you would not believe the editing. So for this video, I am taking it a bit easier. Why? Well, it's my birthday. Yeah, my original plan for this video was to shoot one of my NME plus 33 videos, the first one actually of 2023. And while these have been the most watched videos on the channel, for me they're very fun to make, they're very quick and easy to shoot. And crucially, the 33-year-old issue this time around falls, this is the issue, exactly on my birthday, which is the 26th of May. But on looking again, I realized that, that date that year actually coincided with my 18th birthday. It's quite a big one, isn't it, when you're growing up? Yeah, do the maths yourself. You can see how old I am. So yeah, to break this one up, why it's a hybrid video, partly because of the 18th birthday thing, partly because this issue is a little bit light on the meaty content. I'll also be taking you through a selection of the albums that, 18-year-old me was listening to back in the first half of 1990. Yeah, and whatever your vintage, however old you are, it'd be really nice to know what records you were listening to when you were 18. Yeah, I'd really love to know. So, feel free to add comments below this video. Anyway, yeah, let's get into the NME. Yeah, kicking off this week's cover star is a comedian and not a musician. Yeah, this is Vic Reeves, the comic creation, the alter ego, if you like, of Jim Moyer. And this week at the very end of May 1990 marked the debut of his TV show Vic Reeves' Big Night Out, which I absolutely loved. Yeah, he's had a very long career alongside his kind of comedy partner in crime, Bob Mortimer. And at the moment, he's kind of settled into a late career switch where he's kind of a celebrity painter or artist. Yeah, he's very good. I'm lucky enough to own one of his originals. His last year's birthday present from my wife, which is a hand-finished print of his own sketch of Kraftwerk. I think it's great. Yeah, and also this week we get cover mentions for some of the big UK indie acts of the day. The Stone Roses, the Charlatans, Jesus Jones there at the bottom, the Blue Aeroplanes as well, alongside some pieces with Lydia Lunch and with Debbie Harry. Okay, opening up, we'll take a quick look at the news pages. I will skim over a lot of these pages this time around. But yeah, Gua there, the kind of the gore rockers, I guess you'd call them. Yeah, getting UK dates cancelled following one of those outbreaks of moral panic in the tabloids about the obscene live theatrics. I mean, it's a bit of a joke, really, isn't it? It's just some over-the-top costumes and a bit of fake blood. So yeah, a piece there also about preparations for what is now a legendary gig for the Stone Roses. That was their Spike Island gig up there in Wigan. And right at the bottom, just on the corner, bottom left corner there, an early mention for the just announced headliners of the 1990 Reading Festival. That was the Cramps, the Inspiral Carpets, and the Pixies. I have very, very fond memories of this. It was my first music festival. It cost me the princely sum of £35 for a full weekend ticket. Yeah, this was, for me, at the age of 18, a proper life-changing event. So I'll skim over the news. Yeah, there's not much there. It's a bit about Sub Pop getting some major label distribution in the US. And let's move on to the first lot of my 1990s albums. Yeah, you may find one or two of these I've mentioned already on the channel in one form or another. I'm just going to really whip through them and just show you them. This was The Sundays, Reading, Writing and Arithmetic. That was my first video on the channel, was The Sundays, and another band I'll be mentioning later. I also have Flood by They Might Be Giants. This was the second band I ever went to see live at Cardiff University. Yeah, Chemicrazy by That Petrol Emotion. Yeah, I was quite into these at the time. They were kind of quite a big indie pop draw. They were starting to get a bit dancey on this one, so I don't think it's held up quite as well. Yeah, here we've got Viva Dead Ponies by the Fatma Mansions. I was quite enamoured with these. This is the band of Cathal Coughlan, the late Cathal Coughlan, who died last year, ex of Micro Disney. A very odd mix of kind of, pop and quite aggro kind of noise. Yeah, it's quite a good one, this one. And finally, the last tape in this section, I've got Submarine Bells by The Chills. Yeah, I still love this record. I'm very lucky to be able to go and see them play live in about 3 weeks' time. Yeah, not all the content here is of particular interest to someone looking back now, so we'll kind of skim and fast forward through these. I'll hold on each page momentarily if you wanted to pause and have a closer look. But yeah, we're going through we're going through the thrills section. We're going through, there's a piece there with Lydia Lunch, and an interview here with Fish from Marillion. But we'll stop here on page 11 and take a look at the single reviews, with the single of the week this week being Shall We Take a Trip by Northside. Yeah, people of a certain vintage will remember this, but to me it's a fairly forgettable bit of baggy indie dance pop, very, very of its day. Yeah, reviews there also for New Order's World in Motion, the official 1990 Football World Cup song for England, and Grant Hart, one of his first solo singles there, All of My Senses. Yeah, the rest of this is mostly taken up with a lot of the indie and the dance and the pop of the day. So you get MC Tunes and 808 State, the Ruthless Rap Assassins, Saint Etienne there, Black Box, Darling Buds, and the Happy Mondays. We'll skim across a couple more of these pages here. Now, these are interviews with the Milltown Brothers and with Debbie Harry. Yeah, and onto the cover star. Yeah, Vic Reeves and Vic Reeves' Big Night Out. Yeah, it was a very kind of madcap, surreal, Python-esque kind of, but catchphrase heavy show. Very, very stupid, very daft, very variety show, very cabaret kind of feel. Yeah, this was a bit of a change it felt for comedy at the time, which had got quite political and quite serious. Yeah, very influential show, certainly in the UK. Probably the start, I think, of that, comedy is the new rock and roll trend that we had with a lot of the media in the early 90s. Yeah, whatever you think of it, I can still watch these today and still absolutely lose it. I think it's hilarious. Yeah, moving on over the page, and comedy was getting some quite big media coverage. This is just a couple of pages of lists, basically, films, TVs, stand-ups, and some favourites of various, a selection of, comedians, bands, and musicians. Okay, skimming over the gossip pages, which generally don't mean much to us nowadays. Here are some interviews with Katie Lang and with the Blue Aeroplanes. And yeah, I'll pause here and we'll look at some more of my 1990s records. Yeah, some vinyl here for you. Yeah, I've already talked about this one on the channel. Yeah, that was that first video along with the Sundays, the Blue Aeroplanes, their Swagger album. Also a big one for me this time would have been Bob Mould's second solo album, Black Sheets of Rain. A very dark, very heavy, quite a grueling listen, but very very good. Yeah, and a few here from maybe some of the bigger names of this period. Yeah, so here I've got Extricate by The Fall. This, I think, was their first post-Bricks album. It's a very, very good Fall album. I also have The Good Son, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Yep. And of course, yeah, Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet, one of their greatest albums, clearly. Yeah, just to reiterate, these are all original albums I bought at the time. Literally, I opened a few of these cassettes and found receipts in them from long gone record shops where I originally bought them. So we're going to skim through a fairly large section here covering the Paradise pages. That's the dance music specials. There's a big interview with Warren Beatty. This would have been circa the Dick Tracy film. So, lots of Madonna interest there. And the films, the TV, the radio of the week. Yeah, and we'll land here on the album reviews, and we'll stop and we'll have a look at some of these. I see Come Down Heavy there by The Hypnotics, a name I haven't thought of in quite a long time. Yeah, they got a very good review for this one. They got a 9 out of 10 here. Yeah, Madonna's I'm Breathless, that gets a 6. I think that's being pretty charitable as well, if you ask me. Particularly when you look at Mazzy Star, their She Hangs Brightly album, also getting a 6. Yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah, there are a few other reviews here of interest. There's a couple of tribute album compilations, which I might have mentioned in one or other of my compilation series, I think. Yeah, there's one to Jimi Hendrix, which only gets a 2 out of 10, not a great one, and not faring much better, Psychedelia from 1967. Both of these reviewed by Deli Fideli, so yeah, I'm quite inclined to trust him on these. Yeah, and over the page, yeah, and the first big essential review here, I think, yeah, The Breeders' Pod came out at this time, yeah, and this one got a 9. I still think it's a great debut and a great album in its own right. There's not a whole lot else on here. Bruce Dickinson gets a 1 from Stuart McConey. Punk kind of favourites, all they get a 6, and the Mock Turtles, yeah, they're in here. They get a 7. And again, we're going to kind of skim over this section with, you able to pause if you want to have a look. Yeah, this is the live ads, all the tour news, some stuff about upcoming record releases, and also an interview here at the end, which I will skim with the monstrous Julie Birchill. Yeah, over this page, yeah, one of the other cover features, The Charlatans. It's 1990. What do you expect? It's quite a slight piece, to be honest, if you get into it, as you might expect from the soon-to-be editor of Loaded magazine, James Brown. Moving on, we get some live reviews. Yeah, there's one of the Stone Roses in Sweden. Jesus Jones on tour in the UK, headlining for, I think, probably the first time. And there at the bottom, yeah, a show by the New Fast Automatic Daffodils at Yulu in London. And over the page, yeah, slightly of interest here, an early, I think this might be the first actually, London gig for Teenage Fan Club. This would have been pre their A Catholic Education album being released. And yeah, a bigger kind of panel review there for World Party. Yeah, we'll skim the next few pages, the crossword, again, uncompleted, the classifieds, but I will stop and just draw your attention very briefly to the This Was Then. Yeah, just to see what was happening on my birthday throughout the ages. Interestingly enough, the Sex Pistols' God Save the Queen was released on that day, May the 26th, in 1977. I was only 5 years old. You can't blame me. And I also happen to share a birthday, it seems, with Wayne Hussey of The Mission, which I'm fairly ambivalent about. And moving on to the last kind of handful of albums from 1990 that I was owning. And this is where I'm kind of starting to show my true colours. You know, I was dabbling in the noisier stuff a bit. I have mentioned a few of these on the channel before. I'll link to them if you want to go and see more about them. This is Roundhouse by the band Tar. Yeah, Chicago noise band, very, very good. This is Ben-Hur by the unfortunately named Bitch Magnet, but also, yeah, an extremely good record that I've talked about on the channel. Yeah, I was into the whole Amphetamine Reptile Records thing, and I think I just bought this because I thought it was a horrible, horrible cover. It's quite a horrible album, actually. This is The Cows, Effete and Impudent Snobs. And something where I feel I'm on a slightly safer ground. Yeah, this is the Babes in Thailand, their debut album, Spanking Machine. I saw these live several times, and for a period, I think, yeah, they were an excellent band. And a bit of an oddball here. I did buy this at the time, apparently. Maybe I bought it in a bargain bin. This is Born in Blood by the Paintings. Yeah, these were from Houston, Texas, kind of aligned with the Butthole Surfers. Very odd kind of sample, loop heavy, psychedelic, industrial, very odd. Pretty cool, actually. I gave it a listen recently, and yeah, it holds up. Okay, we'll move on, and we'll just have a quick look at the charts here, just see what was top of the pops. Yeah, Adamski featuring Seal with Killer was the #1 single in the UK, and #1 in the indie chart was My Bloody Valentine's Glider EP. Yeah, in the US, Madonna's Vogue was at #1, and the #1 film at the cinema box office, if you're interested, in the UK this weekend was Pretty Woman. And finally, yeah, Angst, the letters page. Yes, this is the usual mix of, you know, real and made up letters here. You know, there's one from T. Bickle, I mean, really, and one from Nosy Parker from Essex writing in about anoraks. So it's pretty weak stuff, really. But rather interestingly, I just noticed one name here, which is a bit odd. It's a real person. Yeah, there's a letter here from Rupa Hook from London. Yeah, she's the sister of Connie Hook, who's actually married to Charlie Brooker of Black Mirror fame. And Rupa currently sits in Parliament as a Labour MP for Ealing, Central and Acton. She's moaning about too much Manchester coverage and not enough coverage about London dance acts like Soul to Soul. Maybe she had a point. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the end of this issue of the NME from May the 26th, 1990. So that's it for this video. I'll be putting my feet up for the rest of the weekend, but I will check in on the comment section if you want to add some of your albums from your 18th birthday or around about the time you were 18. I'd be very interested to read about them. Yeah, all the usual stuff, subscriptions, likes, much appreciated. In the meantime, I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you again soon. Take care, and bye for now.